Well, hey, I'm live. I'm like dual streaming. I'm streaming live on Facebook, and I'm also for the first time using this app to stream live on YouTube. YouTube. So we'll see how it goes. Who knows? Hey guys, happy Friday night. It's Friday night, Saturday night fever, no fever. I don't have a fever. That's cool. Um, night fever. You don't know how to do it. So I'm going to wait until people come on. Hey, by the way, because I'm using this cool program called StreamYard, I'm in the app, even though it's streaming out. So go there and just allow. Oh, that's for Facebook. I don't know what it's going to be for YouTube. I think you're able to comment in YouTube without doing that, and that way I can see who's here. So tell me who's here. I'd like to see who's here. Whoa, that was loud. So I'm checking in with everybody, seeing how you're doing on this Saturday night, the Saturday night before Easter. For those who celebrate it, it's interesting for me because I, as a theater, do I disco? I'm old enough to remember disco, and I used to roller skate to disco music. And I saw Saturday Fever, and I know some of the people that were in the movie, but no, I do not disco. I'm not a dancer by trade, which you'd be happy that I'm not. And I purposefully never learned to. I never learned to dance because I thought it was a. If I would get a job as a dancer and I wasn't singing or acting, that I would never move up to a level of where I wanted to be. I would take a job just because I needed the money. It was a weird thing that I never did. Hey, whoever is on and said hi that hasn't come in to this thing, just go to that website, streamyard.com/Facebook, and then I can see who you is when you come in. That way I'll know who you are when you're coming in. I'm trying to find the actual stream on my webpage so I can see folks, but I don't see it. I don't know where it is. Don't know where it is. Can you guys see the stream? Are you guys actually able to see the stream? Let me know. Let me go out and come back in. Oh, that's why. Because I'm in the wrong one. How about that? How about them apples? Maybe I'll be able to see it now. I'm in the wrong one. Nope. I don't know where I am. Got no idea. Could be something going on. Who knows? I'm just going to stay here. So, happy early Easter. So the thing for me is that, I'm so used to working on holidays. Like, in the theater world, we don't get holidays off. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter if you celebrate them or don't celebrate them. We work on Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, Easter, Sunday, Thanksgiving Day, St. Patty's Day. It doesn't matter. We're always working because people go to the theater on those days. We would normally have like little behind the scenes info. You guys can pretty much figure this out. So like if we had a show and we were performing on Christmas Day, we would have Christmas Eve off. If we were performing on Christmas Eve, we would have Christmas Day off. I have performed on many a Thanksgiving. I have performed on Christmas Day, where especially like when I was doing Phantom, and the kids would wake up, Santa would come, and then I'd have to go. That's part of the deal. But what it's done, and I've always done that. I've always been in that part of the business. That's always been a reality for me. So it created a work ethic, and I think theater folk are some pretty hardworking people. So I work on holidays, usually, because why not? What else am I going to do? Especially now, it's like we're stuck. We can't go out and do anything. We can't go and celebrate, Easter. We can't go have Easter dinner with friends and family if you celebrate it. So why not work? That's my thing. It's kind of cool. They stagger performances like that. Well, it's 8 shows a week. And you gotta kind of plan them out. There are times when we do like 11 shows in a row. But there are also union guidelines that, don't allow for massive consecutive shows because it's tiring. I mean, doing a Broadway show is physically demanding. It's vocally demanding. It's emotionally demanding. It's physically demanding, depending upon the role. So, you know, you kind of got to stagger. So Phantom was, let's see, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 Thursday, Friday, 2 Saturday, and we had Sunday off. And then on the, I don't know if it's changed. I haven't been back to see the show, but yeah. So then on the holidays, it would be a holiday schedule, and sometimes you would push through. In other words, like you'd push through the holidays, and then you'd have 11 shows and then a day and a half off, something like that. So for those of you who celebrate Easter, what are you doing? How are you celebrating Easter? That'd be a pretty cool thing to see. What you're doing, how are you spelling it? Like, you know, I mean, you're allowed to have family, right? Is that the deal? You're allowed to have some family coming in and spending time with them. And let's see. Nope. And oh, I'm live. I'm going to my, oh, look at that. And spending time with them. Oh, that's not as delayed as Facebook. I think we're only 10 people to a home. I think it is. Is that what it is? Or is that public places? I don't even know what the rule is. I mean, there's not 10 people in my immediate family, so it's not like we have to follow that stuff. So what are you guys doing for Easter? Are you going to watch the 10 Commandments? Are you going to watch, like, what are you doing? Put in some comments here, because it'd be great to see what you all are doing on this weekend. And if you're not celebrating that, then you know, what are you doing? See, Christy says, online mass, then Zooming with my family is how I'm celebrating Easter this year. Look at what I can do here. Yay, Christy. So Christy is in she did our 14-day challenge on the Thrive group, and she's also doing the 7-day Launch Your Masterpiece challenge, which is learning how to tell your story and write a book. And we have a pretty cool thing that we announced today. So hi, Christy. So that's for that. I don't know who this person is, Facebook user, because I can't see it in the Facebook. If you can be Zoom meeting with family for dinner, actually, that's pretty cool. So if you guys can go here, so I can see who you are, just allow StreamYard to see you. That'd be awesome. What did Deb eating matzah? Of course, I would like some matzah. You know what I used to do with my friends? I used to take matzah and I used to put jelly on it and eat it. Just like eating crackers. It's really cool. Oh my God. Andrew Drost. Dude, you must do that little thing. Do that thing. And then I can see you. Actually, dude, do you want to come on and chat with me? I can send you a link to actually come on the screen with me and chat. Let me know. Send me a message, text me or something, because it'd be cool to see your face, unless you don't want to do that. Because it'd be cool for the people to know what you're doing with IMT and also with all the other cool stuff you're doing. Lorraine is having a meal with my staff and my roommate in my group home. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yes, and thank you, Sandra. It's my buddy Andrew. So, yeah, let me know if you want to come on. Oh, now I can see me. All right, it finally populated on the Facebookian here. Oh no, that's the old one. That's so strange. I can't see myself. Maybe it's because I'm streaming on 2 platforms at the same time. Yeah, so some cool stuff we talked about briefly yesterday to chat about music and how art and music changes the world. And you know, as I look at this world that we're faced with right now, and you know, everybody's sort of stuck in their homes and not able to go out. I mean, certainly we can still go out. You can still breathe the air, which I think is important. You got to get out. And I think it's also important to not get stuck. We may be stuck physically, but you do not have to be stuck mentally or spiritually. You can expand. For those of you who literally can't go, like I know Lorraine probably can't, get out of her, was Be Our Guest your only break that was over 5 minutes? Are you talking about Beauty and the Beast? Non sequitur? Is that what you're talking about, Harrison? Let me know. So even if you're stuck physically, then you can actually close your eyes and imagine someplace else, someplace you've been, someplace you want to go, someplace you envisioned. You can even make it up. It doesn't have to be a real place. It can be anywhere, and the idea of creating that expansion and creating that freedom, I think, is vital for your well-being, for your health. Sandra has these amazing pictures. Sandra's an amazing photographer, and she posts them. And that's something that we're able to do, right? She'll post a photograph and we see, wow, the Netherlands, right? We may have never been to the Netherlands, but you can see a photograph and you can actually go there. What would it be like? And imagine yourself standing on the bank of this river and thinking, oh, it might be chilly. And, do I need a sweater, right? And you can actually feel these things, guys. These are old acting exercises. And it's what I do when I work on a show. I'll talk about Beauty and the Beast in a second, but I'll give you an example from A Tale of Two Cities. Where was Sidney Carton at various times? There was a point where Lucy Manette's giving him a scarf. It's Christmas time. It's cold. So you want to actually feel that, right? You want to feel the cold. You want to feel what it would be like on your skin. Remember that. And that creates freedom and it creates expansion. So you're not stuck here. It's not just what's right here. It's what you can imagine and grow into, right? And having the right mindset to overcome whatever you're dealing with. I spoke about this yesterday about driving a car. You cannot control what is outside of you. You can control what you're doing and how you're responding to stimulus that's coming at you, which is why I turned the news off, because we're getting so many different truths that in itself, how about this as a stable piece of information? We're getting so many truths that are different that in itself means that 99.999% of them are false. There's only one truth, right? There's only one truth. Now, there can be some variations, like in this state, this happened based on this truth. But if you really look at it, we're getting bombarded with information that is contrary. Do this, do this, do this, do this, and they're completely opposite. Or do this, and there's one part of that is reflected in this other do this. But they can't all be true. If they're talking about like 2 + 2 = 4, what if the media or what if the news was saying 2 + 2 = 5, 2 + 2 = 5? No, 2 + 2 is 6. No, 2 + 2 is 4.5. Do you see? We're getting bombarded with that. So I turn it off. Because what will it change in your current situation? What's it going to change in your current situation other than you getting hit with information? You're going to know when it's over. You're going to know when you can go out. You're going to hear about it. Trust me, you'll hear it. You'll know. Check in once a day. Don't turn on and dial the news all the time. It's a pretty interesting thing. So anyway, that's what I was saying to you guys. Is I would not get stuck in the focus of what is hitting me from the outside. I would get motivated to think about how I can expand in my imagination. How can I expand my stories? How can I tell a story? Can I relate with somebody? Look, when you guys are on with your, with your friends on the Zoom meeting, what are you guys going to talk about? What are you going to talk about? You're just going to talk about like life? Share some stories. That's what you do, right? You talk. Oh my gosh, I remember when Johnny was in high school and he did blah, blah, blah. Those are stories that you're sharing, right? To raise each other's spirits up. So I encourage you to do that. I don't know if Andrew has gotten his laptop or not. I can't see him. Let me know if you're on, bud, because then I can bring you on quickly. If not, then, we can always circle around on another day. So let me get back to Harrison's question. Harrison's question was, be our guest, your only break that was over 5 minutes. I will be honest with you. That was 19 98 is the last time I did beauty. Oh, there he is. There's my bud. Oh, you're welcome, man. You're absolutely welcome. I'm going to bring you on. I'm going to send you a little invite here. Let's see how I'm going to do this. I know how I'm going to do it. So let me get back to that in a second. I'm just going to send Andrew this link. Bud, check your messenger on Facebook, and you should have it. So just click that. Let me know if you're able to see it. Click that, and then I will see you when you come on to the stream, and we can chat. I probably only have about 15 minutes because my amazing wife is making an amazing dinner for my amazing family. So I don't really remember. We had a break during Human Again, because I remember during Human Again, I'll be human again. Da, 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 da. We were actually on stage with our backs turned to the audience. Hey, Jamie. So we would sit there, and I remember Tony Braxton and I would just sit and chat and talk about stuff. So I don't know. That was, how long was Human Again? 3.5 minutes. I see you, Andrew. I'm going to bring you on in a second. So off stage, there was some time off stage. Obviously there was, the time getting made up. So when after the first appearance of the Beast, which was in the very first scene, I was off until Belle came to the castle. Until there was that fight with the wolves. So, but once that was there, get dressed during the title song. No, we got dressed before the show. I was in makeup for 1 hour before the show opened, because if you remember the show, for those of you who saw Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, the old woman turned the prince into a beast. So there's the prince, and she threw this flash pot, this explosion went, and then the beast appeared. So that first scene, I was already in costume and makeup. Yeah. No, Maurice did come. Maurice came first, but oh yeah, Maurice did come first. Yeah. So see, that's how long it's been. But my first appearance, the Beast's first appearance, the suit with the jacket. Okay. There's a lot of questions. So the suit with the jacket, that's when, I would change before Be Our Guest, because then he would have dinner. But basically all it was a jacket. The shirt stayed the same. They put a shirt on and put the jacket on, and that was it. Okay, I am going to bring on my buddy Andrew Drost. There he is.
Hey.
How are you? Look at you.
Listen, I just trimmed it down today.
Did you? Dude, I saved mine.
I tell you, and I don't have one of my students is a professional barber. My hair. I have no idea what I'm doing for the next 7 weeks without this kid. I have no idea.
Well, fortunately, see, like I started growing my hair after Phantom, and I would like grow a beard, and so I just decided that I was just going to let it go, because I had to sit in Phantom for 3 years, high and tight, like the military cut, and shaved face all the time. And then I just kind of let it go, and then I cut it off, and then I started growing it again. So I'm kind of like, it's a good thing, because I'm in that between world.
Now the long hair suits you well. And let me just please embarrass you for a moment. Those of you who are tuned in today, when James was talking about the acting from Tales of Two City, the amount of detail that James puts into all of his characters is really, we're talking like some Dustin Hoffman Academy Award winning stuff. And I enjoyed watching performance after performance after performance of heartbreaking realism. And so when he talks about the journey of going from suave Phantom to Final Layer Phantom, he lived that every single night. And when we were in holiday schedule, and you're talking 11 to 14 shows without a break, James was an absolute rock. And I just wanted to say that to the people, because I was there, I experienced it, and it was a real privilege to be there with you, man.
Oh man, I truly, truly appreciate it. Andrew, for those of you guys who don't know, was in Phantom for many, many, many years. He's an incredible tenor. He's an incredible performer. And we just connected because we both have this entrepreneurial spirit, this entrepreneurial streak. And it's business, but the whole basis behind it. And I think the reason why we connected so much, he's like a brother separated from birth, is that because the whole basis behind it is to help people, right? Is to help people grow. And so if you guys don't know, Andrew had this vision to create IAMT, which is a musical theater program. And he's like, I want to create a school. I want to create basically a college, a school, a program unparalleled. And people, and I know this. People are like, what, are you kidding me? Well, really? Ha, okay. Guess what? He did hugely successful, massively successful, is changing the way performance-based programs are built. Because guess what? The people that are teaching are professionals that are doing it on Broadway, right? Or like we're in a show and they're out of show and then they're back in a show. And the guest performers, he said, you've had everybody. Laura Osnes, I've come. It's incredible. And so much so that I will tell you this, Andrew, I don't know if you know this, but Jim Crum, who's Cammie's dad, who I met through you, and Christy, you'll get this, because one of our participants in our 14-day and our 7-day challenge, Christy's on the program, and Jamie's on the program, who is one of my partners in this program. I met Jim because his daughter, Cammie, went to IAMT and is a massive performer. She's incredible. And so that's how I met Jim. And now Jim is starting a business on troubleshooting. Like, you haven't heard this, Andrew, but I'll tell you. So Jim Crum is a pilot, and he's a very high-level lieutenant colonel, and he flew the highest dignitaries in the world in the government, right? And retired and now a commercial pilot. But what we realized was that he's able to troubleshoot. And when we asked him things, we said, hey, listen, what happens? You have the lives of countless hundreds of people in your hand, not just the dignitaries, the important people, but now you're a commercial pilot, you have 300 people behind you. And he goes, it's all about preparation. So he's now developing a program for business where you're looking for issues before they happen and you can troubleshoot. And I would not have met him had I not met Andrew, because that's how this works. It works together. We're helping all these people. Yeah.
And I say Jim Crum is an amazing guy, amazing friend. And his daughter, Cammie, is going to be doing, can't say which, but I'll just say it will be the biggest Broadway revival of the season this fall. Very, very excited. In fact, 2 of my students will be in that show with Wolverine. Did I say too much?
No, because we talked about it. I was talking about this the other day. Oh, by the way, so Harrison said, saw you both in Phantom. That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you. This is Mike. Thanks, Mike. You're awesome.
Mike.
Big Mike.
Love Mike.
Here's the funny thing about that. So I was talking on a live stream yesterday about, look, Broadway shut down and there are certain shows that are not going to recover. And you and I have spoken about this, and I did this video sort of as a way, not today, but yesterday, to go, listen, we need to wake up a little bit, because the reality is that, and people were, our group, our family of performers, I've seen people going, the show should not be closing, meaning the show that's currently or was in the Winter Garden. They should not be closing this show. It's a great piece of art. I can't believe they're bringing in a star to replace it. And I kind of went, wait a minute. That's the nature of our business. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's about economy. And this ability to bring the show in that you were just talking about is going to employ hundreds of people.
Yes.
At a very high level. And unfortunately, the nature of business and entertainment, and sometimes I don't think we look at it in the same way. Oh, it's entertainment. It's not show, it is show business. And so you have a curve and the show is doing well. And if it starts to level off or start to go down, it doesn't matter how many people love the show. If it's not financially solvent or successful, they have to bring something else in that will be financially solvent or successful. It is just the nature of it. So my goal has always been how to teach performers specifically Not look. Are we sad when shows close? Yes. I talked about Assassins. I think it was 5 Tony Awards. Best revival, best actor for Michael Service. We had Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, it was a massively positive reviews, like glowing reviews, best reviews I've ever gotten from the New York Times in my life. Closed right after the Tony Awards. After we won all that, people flocking because it was going like this. And so it's an unfortunate thing, but it is the truth. So, I talked about that show because I wasn't sure. I thought it was that show. Madam Librarian. We need this. People want to get up and go 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the Kennedy seat.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, they're going to need a replacement, James. Get in there.
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen is that's going to close, and then they're going to do Greatest Showman. So Hugh's going to go in there. So I'll follow Hugh from Music Man, and then I'll follow him.
I just want to comment on what you just said about show business. I do say that to my students. It's not called show talent. It's called show business. Yeah. And when you understand it from a business point of view, and again, we teach, why is it important to do all modalities well, singing, dancing, acting? Because it saves producers money.
Yeah.
That is the bottom line in this world. And unfortunately, we live in a time ruled by the almighty dollar. And to be fair to the producers, they're the ones taking a $20 million, and in Moulin Rouge's cases, a $30 million risk.
Yeah.
King Kong was somewhere in that neighborhood. I went and saw the show. Absolutely loved it. Wish it would have had a bigger audience. I like puppets. It was amazing. There was a 40-foot puppet. But the bottom line is the show financially viable?
Right.
And again, you look at Les Mis. That's a show that you did a lot of. And there are people who, including me, who are big fans of the show. Why did it ever close? Well, the audience sort of dwindled, and that's that. Versus a show like Phantom of the Opera, which is now in its 33rd year on Broadway, which is just staggering to me. And even Phantom, I am, my fingers are crossed that Cameron McIntosh digs into his pockets and pulls one out to keep it running, because this amount of weeks off, completely unprecedented in the history of Broadway, and it's a show that's heavily reliant on tourist ticket sales.
Right.
So what do we do? I mean, I'm hoping that they open the city 2-3 weeks before June 7th to allow people to say, okay, this feels good. Let me get my plane ticket, get my hotel, and get things sort of back on track. But it all comes down to economics, and it's really important for people to understand. There's a lot of great shows. Bandstand was a terrific show that just couldn't quite find an audience. Bridges of Madison County, fantastic show, couldn't find an audience. And producers and theater owners, quite frankly, go by, how much money are we making?
Yeah, they have to, and it makes sense. It would be like, and I talked about this yesterday, Andrew. It's like the theater owners are basically landlords. Now they put money in. Like I was raising funds for Moulin Rouge, right? And for one reason or another, we didn't end up coming in. I kind of wish we had. But you look at the finances of it. So when a Broadway show goes into a theater, oftentimes the theater owners, of which there are only 3, will put money into the show because they're vested in having that show run. Depends upon the show. Mm-hmm. But let's say you own 4 apartment complexes, right? And I want you to liken it to this. You own 4 apartment complexes, and your tenants are paying your rent. And then what happens is 5 of your tenants can't pay rent. Okay, for 1 week, 1 month. Oh, okay, I'll let you go for 1 month. And then the second month. And then what happens if they can't pay rent continually? Are you going to keep them in there? You're not, because what's going to happen is you still have a mortgage to pay. Now, granted, most of these theaters have been paid off for years. I bet. I mean, Phantom probably has been paid off for years. They still have a weekly cost that they're running. But the deal is that they still have to sustain. So the landlords or the theater owners are going to go, look, hey, listen, I love the show. It's great. That star is great. But we need to be viable because we still have people to pay, the house crew that stay with the theater, no matter if the show's running or not. And there are bottom lines. And so they have to bring something in that's going to be at least try to be profitable. And sometimes it's a crapshoot. Sometimes you don't know. It's like, wow, we're going to go in, and it may or may not work. So the goal for me is always teaching people how they can sustain through the lean times. And Andrew and I have spoken about this for many years, is that if people in my industry, our industry, had prepared, and some have, but again, guys, the ensemble members of a Broadway show in New York City, they're making a decent wage, but after a while, if there's no income, they're stuck, right? And even principals, after a certain point, they're stuck, right? Unemployment runs out. You have to be able to generate income. So if there's a way for performers and artists and basically anyone to be able to sustain, you have to think about other modes of income in conjunction to what you're doing. Because if you had enough income coming in, I know people right now, and Andrew and I know someone who is in our show who has another business on the side and was doing that, and was doing it while we were doing Phantom and selling product. Now, was that the primary focus? No, but it was generating money. And guess what? Now that person's out of the show, she's still generating money. Whereas people that don't,
a good amount.
What's that?
And a good amount.
A good amount.
Yep.
And so with Andrew, for example, with IAMT, he created other modes of income. You know, do you want to talk about you're doing the thing with Broadway? Is it Broadway World?
Yes. Yeah. I've always had a desire to build things. I've always liked that, and now in my late 40s now, I know I look younger than that.
Dude, I'm gonna be 54 at the end of this month, brother.
Listen, but it started off with creating the Institute for American Musical Theater here in New York City, and we went from 29 students. Now we have 105 students, which is just unbelievable, and they're all great kids. And it's funny, and I don't mean this in any kind of slight way, but having this school, our partnership with BroadwayWorld.com, saying sign up, but if you want to check it out, we're doing online classes. Again,
what's the website? I'll put it in the live stream.
It's edu.BroadwayWorld.com, and we're offering voice and acting. It's 3 different tiers of classes: voice and acting. Then you can add dance, which is it's 10 weeks long, 3 ballet classes, 3 musical theater, 2 tap, and 2 commercial dance, to kind of give you a sample of what we do at the Institute, plus a masterclass series, which, James, I'll talk to you about that another time.
You got it.
And so what my dream always was to bring the right information to that kid in Michigan who was me. I was a kid who grew up in Michigan, no access to professionals, anyone who was remotely professional. We're talking, the second company of a professional ballet company. I was there with pen and paper, asking questions, wanting to get advice on how did you do it? Because if you could do it, I could maybe model myself after that. And so I never had the platform until now that Broadway World, which I think we're in like 70 countries worldwide, to offer what I teach and what Michael Manerick teaches and what my dance teachers teach. It's always been a dream of mine, because I was that kid. James, you may have been that kid where you're like, God, I wish I could meet someone who's doing the thing that I really want to do, so I could just pick their brain and ask them questions. Because
that's exactly it. I was always, and I teach this, by the way, Jim Crum just popped on. The thing is that I teach, listen, if you want to do something, no matter what it is, no matter what, what world that you're working in, it is literally find somebody who's doing what you want to do and then copy it.
That's it. And since Jim popped on, I'll just say this. I used to have a tremendous fear of flying, and I flew a lot. So that was a problem. And Jim, being an airline pilot and in his military career, I said, talk to me about turbulence. Now, again, I'm not going to go to the guy who's the local mechanic or the local baker or the grocer, whoever it is, and ask him about turbulence. I'm going to ask the guy who's flying the plane. And so I always say to prospective students, who do you want to learn from? Someone who's doing the thing, who's done the thing, who's proven themselves in the industry, or someone who read a book on it and is going to try to advise? the amount of shows that you've done, James. I mean, if I wanted to talk to you about doing Billy Bigelow, for example, you'd be the guy. You did it, you lived it. Not someone who has seen the the Gordon McRae or the John Raitt or whatever and are going to theorize on it, but someone who's actually lived it. And that was the whole principle behind IAMT right from day one. And so now taking what we do at the Institute to Broadway World. I also own a dance convention called Bella Moxie, which sadly we closed half of our season, but we're going to be fine. All of these things tie in together to what James is talking about. And again, you don't have to build something on a massive scale, especially in the beginning when you're looking at things to do in the lean times, right? I mean, I've had a almost 31 year career at this point, and it's just taking these little steps. I'll shout out to Big Mike, has his podcast starting, is producing events, and it starts like that. And as you grow and the ideas grow, you'll know what's right and what's wrong. And during this time, again, I said, owning these businesses, I've never been more thankful to not be on Broadway.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think about, sadly, hundreds and hundreds of my colleagues who are out of work with really no certain comeback date. I mean, June 7th is what they're saying now, but who knows? I mean, I'm praying it's June 7th. And like you said, James, a lot of these shows aren't going to come back.
Right.
So what do we do? How do we create? How do we, stay creative and economically viable during times like this? It's being an innovator. And I mean, James, the amount of things you've done, we've been talking for years about this stuff. Anyone is eligible. Anyone can do it. I'll say, I was a kid from Michigan who just was insane enough to think I could do all these crazy things. And then I did the things.
Yeah.
So it's all of you can do it. I love the expression, anyone's eligible. You just have to be willing to do the research, meet the right people, and do the work.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, man. I actually have to wrap it up because I can smell my dinner in the other room.
Enjoy, my friend.
And I will be totally transparent. I thought, because I have, with StreamYard, I have the ability to stream on any of my Facebook pages and in my group. And I thought I was streaming to my page, my James Barber Now page. And I realized I'm streaming in the Thrive group, which is why I couldn't see it. I'm like, why can't I see it? So anyway, this is, I'll pop it over onto the main page so other people can see it. But buddy, you know what we should do? We should set a time for you and I to do one of these.
Absolutely.
Maybe on a little bit of an ongoing basis.
Listen, you let me know. I am always happy to just hang out with you, my friend. Happy to share my life experience with the viewers. You are one of my favorite human beings that I've ever met,
buddy. Likewise.
So,
and look at that! I always say those are the Tale of Two Cities backdrops right there.
Nice.
Tony Walton painted for me. So anyway, awesome, guys. So hey, have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will probably, we have tomorrow at 12 o'clock our Launch Your Masterpiece program here in the Thrive group. And for those of you guys who are on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/groups/Thrive Arts, where Jamie and Chris and I are basically showing you how you can tell your story in an ebook or a book and get that out and monetize it. We also have a program where we are putting together a compilation book of 25 authors, each doing a chapter. And we're going to get the book, hopefully, to international bestseller level. And you can instantly take your story to another level. So it's pretty cool.
Amazing.
All right, Andrew, I love you, buddy. Thank you for coming on. Everybody, thank you for coming on. And have a great, great night.
All right. Love you, my brother. Ciao.
See you, man. Bye.